I wanted to give a tiny update to yesterday. You may recall on the show I was giving you examples of how the left in this country has become increasingly intolerant, not really letting any other opinions be expressed that are inconsistent in any way with the left-wing agenda in this country. Not simply that they criticize people who disagree with them, but they truly try to shut them down in a variety of ways. It is shutting down one of the most important, robust promises of America, which is freedom of speech. First quick story, you may have heard about this, but Michelle Malkin, a very prominent conservative commentator, author, she's joined us in the show sometime recently, the last few months, about her new book related to immigration. But she spoke at a rally, I believe she's part of organizing it, it was in Denver. It was called Back the Blue Rally, basically standing up for police in the face of the effort of the left to say that we should defund the police. So they had a rally, she was part of it, she was speaking, she was actually physically attacked by Antifa and Black Lives Matter protesters. I didn't even like that word. Protest can mean you behave well and you hold a sign and walk down a street and chant whatever you want to chant. These are violent people, basically trying to shut down Michelle Malkin and anyone else who wants to stand up for the police. So the rally, again, she was actually attacked. And the thing gotta love about Michelle Malkin, because she is she's very clever with her words. She really doesn't take being silenced well. So she ended up tweeting afterwards. It was videos so people can see how she was actually attacked by these people. But then she tweeted out an SOS to President Trump. So she's talking about the police official in Colorado who is apparently supportive of Black Lives Matter, had marched with Black Lives Matter the previous week. So she tweeted to President Trump, so at Jared Polis, at Denver Police Chief Posen, are you okay with pro-police patriots being swarmed, targeted, and assaulted in a clearly orchestrated attack? I caught it all on video and recorded the faces of the brutal animals. Please, at Real Donald Trump, we need law and order. And then she put SOS. Gotta love Michelle Malkin, but understand this is not a unique, one-of-a-kind incident. This is an ongoing methodology, the standard operating procedure for Antifa and Black Lives Matter, simply shutting down anyone who dares to disagree with them. Another one in the academic realm involves a teacher, a public school teacher in the state of Michigan. His name is Justin Kucera, who was a coach and a teacher, well-loved according to current students, other teachers, past students, but who was fired by the school district in Michigan because he put out in a tweet, and this is the exact words of his tweet, "I'm done being silent. At Real Donald Trump is our president." Okay, he didn't say anything more, just he is our president, which is a factual statement. He is actually our president. But he was called in by the administration, who could not stand that he wrote that. He talked about the meeting, called in by the superintendent and the principal, told at the beginning they were going to talk with him about his tweet, and then they would make a decision about his future employment in the upcoming days. And then he said by the end of the meeting, where he said, yes, I did put that tweet out, they told him that he either had the option to quit or be fired. And it's really interesting because was a coach and a teacher, and he had students and fellow teachers and past students coming out to say, the guy is not political at school. He never, during coaching and during teaching classes, was political. This is the one-time thing. He put a tweet out with a factual statement, Trump is our president, fired, I hope he's got a good lawyer, I hope he sues. And I'm not a litigious person, but you have to start challenging these left-wing bullies. Final story, very interesting, in the city in California, Redwood City, California, the city council had permitted the Black Lives Matter organization to paint a giant Black Lives Matter message on a public street, on Broadway Street. And so a lawyer in Redwood City said, well, then she wanted to be able to paint on a street or on the street MAGA 2020, MAGA 2020. Now, bear in mind, the Redwood City Council was fine with the Black Lives Matter thing, could not think of a reason to justify saying no to this lawyer who wanted to paint MAGA 2020. And so their answer was to spray paint off and remove the Black Lives Matter message. They would rather surrender the message they obviously preferred than to allow someone to express support for the President of the United States of America. And again, people, these stories are I could spend the entire show sharing stories like this, where the left has become not just belligerent, but emboldened. They actually feel they can stop other people from speaking, and they assume most people will back down, and sadly, that seems in many cases to be true. It's easier to be silent than to speak up and say what you want to say in the face of the growing belligerence of the anti-American left. And that, my very fine friends, is today's First Five.